Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path, which is located in Forest City, North Carolina. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a beautiful oval shaped ring that was in one of my previous videos. So for today's project you're going to need 58 4mm bicones, and when you first start out you'll probably want to use just one color. You're going to need 28 to 30 4mm round beads, and these just need to be faceted glass. They're going to be covered up so you're not going to see those as much. They'll just be working for our base. You're also going to need a size 11 seed bead. Do not use delicas or the ring will not turn out correctly. And you're also going to need fire line. I will use probably a 6-pound fire line for this project. And you're going to need 2 needles. Now this video is going to be a little bit longer than some of the ones that we do, so just bear with us and get your materials together and we'll go ahead and get started. If you actually want written directions, and they are very good, written by myself, and they have step-by-step pictures, you can email us at kelly@offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, and we'll be happy to get you a copy sent out to you. So, like I said, get your stuff together and we'll get started. So for today's ring, I'm going to be using a 4mm round, and I'm going to be using a crystal AB. This is just a regular fire polished glass bead. For my bicones, I'm going to be using a 4mm turquoise double AB Swarovski crystal. And then for my size 11 seed beads, I'm going to be using a size 11 galvanized silver seed bead. Now there's 2 different kinds of galvanized silver you need to be aware of. The first is the one that I'll actually be using, and it is just the original galvanized silver. Now this one, if you wear it a lot, this color will rub off, but it's just a clear bead underneath. They also make a new permanently galvanized bead, and it's a bit more expensive than this one, but the color will stay permanently silver. So it kind of depends on how much money you want to spend on it for your seed beads. Just be aware that if you use anything galvanized, be careful that it may rub off. So what I've done is I have threaded a needle onto each end of a 2-yard piece of fire line. So to start out, I have threaded 3 beads onto one needle and let them fall to the center of my thread. On one needle, I'm going to pick up 1 round bead, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through the bead. And to make sure it goes into the center, I'm going to put my 2 needles together, and then I'm going to grab a hold of that 1 bead and I'm going to pull it down so that now I have 1 box. So next step is 1 round bead on each needle and let those fall. And then I'm going to pick up 1 round on 1 needle and cross opposite ways through that round bead. 1 round bead on each needle, and then I'm going to pick up 1 round bead on 1 needle and cross opposite ways through that 1 round. So the very top of your ring has 3 boxes. Each side has 3 boxes, and then the ends will only have 1 box. So this 4th box that we're fixing to make will be our first side box because it'll be here, and it'll also be our first end box. So what we'll be doing is on the left hand needle I'm going to pick up 2 round beads. On the right hand needle I'm going to pick up 1 round bead, and I'm going to cross opposite ways through just that one on the right hand that I just picked up, so that when I pull, now the 4th box, instead of exiting here at this bead on the end, I'm exiting a side bead, and that's exactly where I need to be, because what's going to actually happen is this 4th box is going to get folded like this so that it's one of our end boxes. So it says, with the needle that is coming out of the bottom of the round, the one that we just crossed through, go through the next side round on the base. So all that means, my thread coming out here towards the bottom, I'm just going to take and I'm going to come through the very next round bead here on the side. Go ahead and pull that thread. With my top needle, which is the needle coming out here at the end of my beadwork, I'm going to pick up one round bead. And it says pick up one round with the other needle and cross your needles opposite ways through this one bead. So on my right hand needle, I will pick up one round and I will cross the needles opposite ways through the one on the right hand. So that when we pull, now we have made our turn. We have our very end box, which was the fourth one, and now we have a side box here for our first side. It says, with the needle that is coming out towards the beadwork, go through the next side bead on the base. So with my needle that is coming out towards the beadwork here, I'm going to come through just the very next round bead on the base. And it says, with the right hand needle, pick up, and I'm going to look at it like this so that way you guys will be able to see. So with this right hand needle here, the one that's coming out this way, I'm going to pick up one round bead. With the left hand needle, I'm going to pick up one round bead, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through this one bead. So that now I have two boxes here for the side. And the directions tell me to repeat steps 7 and 8 once more. So step 7 was with the needle coming out towards the beadwork, I'm going to come through the next side round bead. So I'm going to come through this last round bead here on the side. And then number 8 was with the right hand needle, I'm going to pick up one round bead. With the left hand needle, I'm going to pick up one round bead, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through the one on the left hand. And remember, keep it pulled good and tight. So now I have the top that we started with, I have the very end, and I have 3 boxes on this one side. Number 10 says, with the left hand needle, go through the bottom bead next to the bead you are exiting. So all that means, with my needle coming out here, I'm just going to come straight through the very next bead right next to it. With my right hand needle, I'm going to pick up one round bead. And I'm going to pick up one round with the left hand needle, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through this one bead on the left hand. So that when I pull, now I have another end box. So it's looking almost like a little teepee if you look at it in front of you. And it kind of gives you the 3D effect. So with the needle that is coming out of the top of the round, go through the next side bead on the base. So the top bead is my left hand needle here. It's coming out here towards my beadwork, so I'm just going to come right through the very next bead. And it says, on the right hand needle, pick up one round, and pick up one round with the other needle, which would be my left hand needle, and cross your needles opposite ways through this one bead. When we pull, you now have your next side box. And I'm going to try and zoom in just a little bit more here so you can see a little bit better. So see, I have the top, have one side, my 2 ends, now I have the next side bead here. With the left hand needle, go down through the next side bead on the base. So that means the needle exiting towards the beadwork here will just come right through that next round bead. And it says repeat steps 13 and 14 once more. So 13 was on the right hand needle. I'm going to pick up 1 round. On the left hand needle, pick up 1 round and cross your needles opposite ways through that 1 bead. So that when you do so, and you don't get it tangled up like I do, you will have another side box here. Now, if you start to understand, a box consists of 4 beads. So we have 1 bead that we're coming out of for this 4th box. We have a bead here on the top, and we have a bead here on the end. The only thing missing is this little bead here. So what we're going to do is with the right hand needle, we're going to pick up 1 round bead, and we're going to go up through the opposite bead of this box. So I'm going to take, and I'm coming out here, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come right straight up through this one right across from it, so that when I pull it, now I have my 3D box. And it says to stitch both threads to exit opposite sides of the end bead of the first box on the top side. You are now ready to start your embellishments. So all that means is that with the needle I just used, I'm going to come straight through the top bead here. And I want them to exit opposite sides. So with this other needle, what I need to do is I need to stitch around so that, you see where I'm at here. There we go. I need to stitch around so that I'm coming out of this side. So I'm going to come through 1 bead, down through my side end bead, through the bottom, straight up through this bead here, and then through that top end bead, so that both needles are exiting opposite sides of that bead. So if you look at your structure now, you have a top, 2 sides, 2 ends, and then the bottom is hollow. And it's kind of one of those things, it doesn't really matter how you get there as long as you get here to the top to start working. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding our crystal embellishments. So it says on each needle pick up 1 bicone and let them fall. So got 1 on each and let those fall. On 1 needle pick up 1 seed bead and cross your needles opposite ways through this bead. So I'm going to pick up a seed bead and I'm going to pull it off my needle just a little bit, and then I'll cross through it. On each needle, pick up 1 bicone and cross your needles opposite ways through the next round bead on the base. So bicone on each needle, and then I'll take, and see I'm coming out of this very end round one here. So I'm going to take and cross my needles through this very next round one here on the top. So go through, and go through. Pull the threads good and tight, and you have your first little crystal embellishment on the top. So we're going to do this 2 more times. We're going to pick up a bicone on each needle and let those drop. Pick up 1 seed bead and cross your needles opposite ways through the seed bead. And then bicone on each needle, and I'll cross through this very next round here. So I'm going to finish this one and do this last box, and you do the same.